Good evening or morning, everybody. We are back. It is the right side of campus. We are live Tuesday, April 24th, 2018. I'm your host, the big man on campus, getting you here ready for another day in sports, MLB playoffs, or NBA. I'm all over the place. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, MLB, NFL draft. Lot going on today. Welcome in my co-host, Donnie Rightside. Donnie, you might as well host. I don't. I'm all over the place. Very, very
It's a
weird.
little too. Yeah, Jeff. I know you've been up studying the case, which we've been waiting for what, Jeff? 3-4 months now. Every week there seems to be two rulings or three rulings coming out from the Supreme Court of the United States. Today might be another day, Jeff. On one of my monitors, I just have up today to see if it's going to be an opinion on the Supreme Court gambling issue. My guess, Jeff, is like to say, I don't know when it's going to come, but it just seems like just stop putting up there like there's another chance to get in on this, Jeff. Your thoughts on gambling and when is it coming? Jeez.
Well, I won't hold my breath, but I will make sure that I say that it will happen this week. I think I'm sure that it's going to happen this week. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon. I mean, it's going to happen at some point. You can't just let it drag on forever. Um, Listen, I've made it clear it's not going to change my life particularly. This summer it'll be cool. I mean, when I'm at the shore, I can go down and make bets when I go play poker, and I can cash my tickets in and get paid right away. But I still will bet the way I do. I just think it'll open up a lot for the city. It'll allow Atlantic City to get back. I mean, look, Donnie, you saw Saturday night. UFC hosted an event in Atlantic City. Atlantic City is on its way. There are casinos that are reopening. The Revel will be back open soon. They have a Hard Rock opening soon. Sports betting is going to do big things for Atlantic City, and we're excited about it around here. I think Atlantic City is one of the great towns in America still. It's one of my favorite places, and I look forward to it. I hope it's only soon, though, and I think it will be. As far as from what I've seen, looks like a lot of people are saying that it'll be over the next couple weeks here. We'll keep waiting. I mean, we've been waiting this long. We can't wait a couple more weeks. Shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, I think as soon as it happens, it'll be great and it'll be awesome to be able to just go make a bet. I've never made a bet, at that kind of level. Like I've never walked up and did that. So that'll be fun. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. Obviously, if we get any news on it, we will bring that across the wire. We'll know that kind of right away here. Let's get into the show. We welcome everyone. Hopefully, you had a great night and you have a great day and you enjoy the show today. Let's get into the headlines. First of all, before you get into that, we do urge you hit the like button. Make sure you're saying hello and you're joining us every day. And you know that we're on. Make sure other people know it as well. Hit the retweet button on Twitter. It's a great way to share the show. Also, we are sponsored by the great folks at Intertops. Intertops, one of the best books in the business. Great customer service, great withdrawal methods, easy deposits, and good lines. Make sure you're checking out Intertops, whatever you're making your decision on where to get a book. Let's get into the show here. We'll start
Yeah,
it out
first off,
with.
Daniel, hold on, Jeff.
Yeah.
Daniel Wallach tweets out right now there are two decisions today coming from the Supreme Court today. The first decision is out. It is not the gambling case. The second one should be up shortly here, so we'll keep you filled in as we watch it live to see what Jeff also said. The good people at Intertops, you see it right in the background right there, sponsoring the show. Be kind to the show sponsors. If you like the content that we give out on sportsbookreview.com, always support the good people at Intertops. We'll be reading some lines here a little bit later on the Major League Baseball games and NBA games. A lot of stuff to get into, Jeff, but headlines are up here. Let's go.
I will say this, Donnie. Here's kind of what I'm going to say about one other thing about Atlantic City. If New Jersey gets sports betting, okay, and I know all you Vegas people, oh, Vegas is the king, it's the best. Get the fuck out of here. Not anymore. It's going to be New Jersey. We have a beach. You don't. It's going to be a destination again, Donnie. I mean, how sweet would it be, Donnie, on a Tuesday night in July, get in your car. I know I'll do it. I do it all the time. Get in my car, drive over to Trop, drive over to Borgata, park the car, walk in, get my chips, go over to the cage, make my bets, sit down, play poker, cash out a couple hours later. I mean, I just can't wait for that. And it's going to be a destination spot for a lot of people. We have all the major metropolises, Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, DC. They're all only a couple hours away, Donnie. Atlantic City will be huge. We can only hope that it happens sooner than later. Let's get into the headlines. Obviously, that's a headline, you know, to mention. But Julio Jones scares Falcons fans. I believe he made his profile private, deleted all of the Falcons stuff off of it. What is going on with Julio Jones?
Yeah, I don't know. I was reading about that a little bit. It looks like a big to do about nothing in that, but it certainly did scare Falcons fans. But in this league, when you're a really good player like that and you're under contract, there's really not too much you can actually do to try to force your hand to get out of town. I don't think he was even doing that. If you remember, a lot of times, Jeff, in Cleveland, LeBron James, once the playoff starts, unfollows everybody, doesn't check social media. Maybe just a reorganization there of social media for Julio Jones in that one, but certainly threw up alarm bells. Like, if Carson Wentz one day woke up, Jeff, and just all his Eagle stuff down off of Twitter and, just went on with his day. I'm sure there'll be pure panic here in the city of Philadelphia. Same thing with Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid as well.
Ron Fig, don't kid yourself. Vegas will always be better. I don't give a flying fuck about Vegas. I couldn't care less about it. And I can't wait, Donnie, where we have our own Vegas here on the East Coast, my brother.
Yeah,
We
it
move
is gonna
on.
be nice though. I mean, you're gonna have it. You're gonna go across the country, Jeff. How about if you make a trek? You're like, hey, I'm gonna go on vacation down in Texas, Jeff. You go down through about 12 or 13 states, meander your way through, and you can place a wager in every single state in the next 5 years. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Oh yeah. Oh yes. But yes, Julio Jones. There has been a bit of a talk about maybe he'll leave the Falcons. I don't think he will. Again, maybe he just wants to be private. Nothing wrong with that. NFL smoke screens flying. This is a story I have no idea what you're going to go with here, Donnie. What is this all about?
Yeah, I mean, this is my favorite time of the year with the draft when teams just say utter nonsense out there and hope somebody bites on it. Now, all of a sudden, at the 23rd hour, Jeff, Cleveland looking at Baker Mayfield, number one. How many players have Cleveland looked at number one? Of course they're going to do this. They're going quarterback at one. Don't be stupid out there and following this stuff. The only interesting wild card here is the Giants, who, if they're going Saquon Barkley at two, I will send out gif upon gif upon gif of my favorite Charlie Murphy gif where he's laughing out loud sitting there in his pinstripe suit. There's no way the Giants go running back. And if the Giants go running back at two, it will be like another celebration here in the city of Philadelphia. Don't believe the smoke screens. When you're in the top 3 or 4 picks, if there are quarterbacks are there, you need to take them. There is a reason why your team is drafting 1, 2, or 3. You suck. When you suck, it means you don't have a quarterback. Do yourself a favor. Get a quarterback and worry about the rest later. If the Giants and Dave Gettleman are sitting there thinking Saquon Barkley's the pick at two, hallelujah from an NFC East fan.
Yeah, I disagree completely. I don't want Julio, or I don't want Saquon Barkley anywhere near me or have to face him 2 times a year. Julio Jones is the best player, or Julio Jones. Saquon Barkley is the best player in this draft. I think the Giants will take him at number two. I agree, though. If Baker Mayfield and you want a quarterback, it should not be Baker Mayfield. We'll get into that later in the week. Baker Mayfield's going to be a failure at the next level. And if the Jets take him, which it wouldn't surprise me if they do, that will be yet another failure for them, which wouldn't surprise me because that's what they seemingly always do. But we'll talk about the draft later in the week. Vegas books are against the Golden Knights. How about that? The Golden Knights um, are not getting back. Well, that's interesting. Why is that, Donnie? That's seemingly interesting. They've been all over the Golden Knights all year. Why is it changing now?
Well, yeah, same reason why Leicester City over in the EPL, Jeff, won. I mean, I'm sure there's, a lot of people that got in early just to some funny money bets at some ridiculous odds just to say, hey, Vegas is in town. You know what? Let's just make the pilgrimage over to the sports book. And for old time's sake, I'll throw $10 down on 500 to 1 that Vegas will win the Stanley Cup and we'll save it as sort of a little memento. But now when you're looking at the big time dogs like this that are going to line up and win, that's a lot of money payout at lottery propositions, 300, 400, 500 to 1 at this point. Be interesting to see how many people actually have those early on tickets, but they were posted some of the lowest odds you can actually get. So it's no surprise that if you are a sportsbook in Las Vegas, yes, the hockey team is very good for the area, but if the Vegas wins the actual Stanley Cup itself and plows through the playoffs, they're going to have some big lottery type payouts at some of these sports books.
Yeah, I'm on the Golden Knights myself. I have them, like I've mentioned. I don't know anything about hockey, but I do have them at 30 to 1 to win the Stanley Cup. So, look, if they get to the finals, the Stanley Cup finals, I'll hedge, but not at this point. It's way too early. Looking forward to it though. They're playing well. Should be a fun series coming up here against the San Jose Sharks. We are obviously keeping a look on Twitter at the decision in the New Jersey Sportsman case. Will it be today? Is the big question. We'll keep up to date with that. We move on to NBA. What an interesting night last night in the NBA, Donnie. Two games, only two games, but they were interesting games. The Houston Rockets used a big time third quarter, 50-point third quarter to outscore the Timberwolves 50-20. I'll tell you what, early on, Donnie, they had a lot of trouble. James Harden didn't look good. I think he started 1 for 9. Chris Paul didn't look particularly good. They just looked out of sync, inconsistent. But I'll tell you what, the third quarter was huge, and they roll to a 119-100 victory. Also, we had the over. Congrats to you. The
Ooh,
Joe
yeah.
Johnson jumper with about 10 seconds to go put it over the number. Donnie, Houston looking good. However, they're going to have to start and put in some full games, not just one or two quarters.
No, you're right about it. Watching that, I actually enjoyed watching that game, Jeff, because I do like, watching other teams' crowds and, the excitement of the NBA. And if you can get back in the playoffs like the Wolves can, I mean, Jeff, tied up 2-2 against the number one overall seed, wasn't meant to be. They played a really good first half, kept it close. Like, you know what? Looks like, Harden's a little bit off at this point, and the Houston Rockets aren't gelling. Maybe they can steal game 4 and go back 2-2, and you never know what happens in the next 3 games, even though Houston still would be a prohibitive favorite in that. But then a 50 spot, Jeff, a 50 spot. You want to talk about going back into the locker room and setting your team up in the right direction for D'Antoni and also his players there. What a way to come out on the road and just say, this series is ours. Any thoughts you had of winning this basketball game? It's a wrap right now. Up 3-1 going back, looking to close it out for game 5. Really impressive, Jeff. I like when teams go into the locker room and come out with an actual game plan to start the second half and execute. That was impressive on the road in the playoffs in a hostile environment.
Yeah, it really was. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I think what we're starting to learn though is there's no particular team that I'm going to say that I think is a guarantee that they're going to get to the NBA Finals and win. Maybe it's Houston, but I need to see them put together another couple full games before we're willing to do that. I don't know. I just think with Houston, they're just a little inconsistent for my liking, but we'll keep it moving. Obviously, they have a stranglehold on that series, and they will be moving on. Donnie obviously mentioned it. No decision today in the sports betting case. Yet again, we wait for this to happen. Doesn't happen today. It just seems like they're toying with people at this point. The next scheduled date would be April 30th, so on next Monday. We'll see.
Yeah.
So we'll put that in the dresser drawer and wait for another week, Donnie.
Yeah,
Let's
it's been that way for a couple of months where it's there was seemingly like some ramp. They tell you each and every time, Jeff. Like look, nobody knows anything except the Supreme Court justices what's actually going to come out that day. But it seemed to be there was a little, as opposed to the first day it could be released or the second day. There seemed to be a little bit more juice today for some reason. But again, everybody waiting on it, putting out articles last night. Looks like this might be the day. Nope. And now you're going to set up. And again, you're right. April 30th is the next day. Next Monday, probably going to be a no. I mean, what are we going to do? Just drag this out till mid-September? I don't even know when their term ends at this point. Just so they can avoid the NFL altogether with lawsuits. I don't know what's going on. I just wish it would take place and get here.
agreed. Thunder, they're on their last leg. They go down 3-1 in that series against the Utah Jazz, and I got to tell you, Donnie, I might cause some ruckus here, but this Utah Jazz team looks pretty damn good. They look real damn good, and they might be a team that in the Western Conference people better start taking a note of. Obviously, the Warriors have their issues with some injuries. Houston's not been as consistent as we thought they'd be, though. There's still plenty of time left. This Utah Jazz team looks pretty damn good from top to bottom. They're fantastic defensively. Donovan Mitchell has been fantastic. They're getting great performances out of Ricky Rubio and Joe Ingles and Gobert. They're well coached. They have a great home court atmosphere. This is a team that really starting to look good to a lot of people. And I'll tell you what, Oklahoma City, what do you say about them? I mean, they just look dead. They look disinterested. They look off. This is 2 straight games now, Donnie, where they just basically pack it in. I mean, it was a close game in the first half. I mean, then towards the end of that second quarter, Oklahoma City just gets shredded. I mean, Utah goes on a run. Before you know it, it's a 15, 17-point game. Um, Listen, Paul George is overrated. He's not as good as people want to make him out to be. I love Russell Westbrook, but you know, sometimes he's trying to do too much. And Carmelo Anthony is just a complete mess. What is Carmelo's purpose at this point anymore? Doesn't play defense. He can't make anything. What was he? I think at one point 4 for 16. Just a total mess. Steven Adamson's non-existent. Andre Robertson's injured. Their best defender. Um, what do you say about Oklahoma City? They're just a complete mess.
Yeah, no, I mean it's hard because when you're coming into these games, Jeff, and you're looking, great talent in individual parts for Oklahoma City. Utah playing much more like a team, but just looking at Oklahoma City side, like it's hard to hold secrets in the NBA. Paul George isn't staying in Oklahoma City, right? So how much vested interest does he has right now when he knows he's going to go back to the homeland and play for the Los Angeles Lakers next year? Also, when you're looking at Carmelo, like it was always like Carmelo went to OKC. Ooh, we finally got that superstar. Superstar in name only. It's not 6, 7 years ago. How much does he add? Because you really want guys that defend and are going to hit open jumpers when they're ready. Melo makes a ton of money. He's not there. Then we get to the final point of Westbrook yesterday. Everything he does is sort of, you can sit up on a hot take soapbox, but it's so easy to read Oklahoma City and Westbrook at this point. When you watch him day to day, game to game on what he does, just the pettiness stuff. And after the game, Rubio gets a triple double. He doesn't. So you know what he cares about? I can't even believe that guy stole my triple double thunder out there. I'm going to go out the next day. You know what, fans? I'm going to make sure Rubio doesn't get his triple double out there. Well, that's all he cared about the whole game, playing super aggressive with Rubio, basically fouling himself out, getting out of rhythm the entire game. They get beat. But you know what? Westbrook, good job. You held Rubio without a triple double last night, and your team got smoked. And I bet going back to his hotel room, picking up a nice steak, sitting there going, yeah, I showed Rubio last night. And then the phone rings, says, hey, man, we're down 3-1. Damn, we lost that game? We actually lost that game? I held Rubio to under a triple-double. It's the same thing every single. Westbrook, an unbelievably talented athlete. But like I said again, he's never going to win an NBA title because he just can't play as a team player, quote unquote, Mr. Hero Ball at it again, where I'm going to stop Rubio because I was embarrassed. Forget about winning. You know what his comment should have been after the game, Jeff? I don't care if Rubio gets 99 points on me, on my head, as long as we win 100-99. That's not the way he thinks. It's just not the way he's built, Jeff.
I mean, that's questionable. I mean, I like him still. I get what you're saying. I just, listen, he is very me guy. I'm not going to say that, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think the problem with the Thunder is, I mean, I think they really became a different team. I know this is going to be crazy, but when they lost Robertson, they became a different team. They weren't as good defensively. He's a really good defender. That's hurt them. But you're right. I mean, Westbrook has some of those me issues that he needs to fix, and I don't know that he can. And again, another series where they're going to lose and lose early. Carmelo Anthony, it's time to hang it up. Time to get going. I literally feel like Carmelo Anthony's been in the league for 30 years. Seems like he never will go away. Like he's always around, and he's always jacking up bricks that never make it, that never go in. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Uh,
Carmelo's another super me guy, even dating back all the way, Jeff, when he was in Denver. Don't you remember how it went down in Denver where he would be a free agent at the end of the season and you knew he was going to New York, right? But instead he forces a trade mid-season from Denver to over to the New York Knicks and guts the franchise because they have to give up draft picks and players instead of waiting it out and going to New York where they have a full deck to play with. He's always been about himself. But again, that's what you're going to get out there when you take a look at Oklahoma City at this point. It's just the way it is. And getting back to the Westbrook point, Jeff, Westbrook, I say it every time. He's an unbelievable NBA talent. There's no question about it. He's one of the hardest guys to defend. He plays extremely hard, but there are guys that are just all about stats before winning. How many times were we in high school or grade school at the end of a game where you're up like 5 or 6 points when you know you're going to get fouled? Everybody wants to pad their stats, right? But there's always that one guy on your team that will literally try to steal the ball from you and wait for the triple team to foul him instead of passing out because he wants to go to the free throw line. That's what Westbrook reminds me of. But again, he's a great talent.
the crowds in these playoff games have been very good for the
Yeah.
most part. Obviously, Utah last night was on fire. Mitt Romney in the crowd having some fun. He was obviously all over the place. It's nice to see in the NBA them getting good crowds. In Utah many years ago, a couple years ago even, weren't even seemingly selling out games. Now, it's what a difference a playoff run makes, Donnie. People love the playoffs. You'll see another great crowd tonight, obviously around the league in different stadiums. Um, the NBA playoffs are great. It's just hopefully the games get a little better. This Utah Oklahoma City series has not been particularly good. The Portland series blew. I think Houston and the other all four series in the West have been bad.
No, you're right. Yeah, no. And again, talking about just big game environments in Utah, isn't that what they get excited for? I mean, Utah doesn't have a hockey team or, a pro football team. It's nice when you see one of these cities that really gets around their team. Oklahoma City usually has a great crowd as well, one of those college town atmospheres. When you only have, like, the only game in town, so to speak, Jeff, is the one team that you have, it's nice to see when they rally around and get behind and really get involved in it. But again, I guess when the game is over, Jeff, in Utah, the event stadium, whatever they call it now at this point, probably can't even go to a bar, Jeff, can you? Don't they close at like 10 o'clock in Salt Lake?
I don't even think they have bars there. I think they're banned, probably. Um, we'll move on. We'll get back to NBA and the MLB card in a little bit. MLB last night, not a particularly long night of MLB, not a huge crop of games, but there were some interesting ones. Baltimore lose again. They're now 6-17 on the season. And Donnie, Carlos Carrasco was magnificent last night yet again. Carlos Carrasco 7 1/3, gave up just 1 earned run and had 7 strikeouts over the last 22 innings. Donnie, Carlos Carrasco 3 earned runs. Opponents are hitting 149, and his whip, Donnie, 0.68. Carlos Carrasco not even allowing base runners, let alone base scorers. Carlos Carrasco has been absolutely fantastic.
No, you're right about it. Again, what's funny, Jeff? You go and look at some lineups now, as like we're really ramping up for May baseball, and you go over and see like who's doing what at this point after about a month in. And you look at that team, Jeff, it's like Manny Machado's hitting like 380 in the middle of the lineup, and it looks like everybody else is hitting like 165 around them. That's a hitter's ballpark. That should not be the case for the Baltimore Orioles, but you can't take anything away from Carrasco because we've said it coming into the season, Jeff. The top of the line rotation for the Cleveland Indians with those power arms is going to give people problems. I'm just more picking on the Baltimore Orioles overall. They just don't seem like they can hit anybody at this point. And we talked about it yesterday in the show with Machado getting traded away. But you're right. Carrasco was a fantastic performance. Economical, Jeff. Almost 8 innings pitched, 81 pitches. That's fantastic.
Right, and look, I'll tell you what, Gausman wasn't bad. I mean, the Indians didn't do him any love. I mean, not scoring any runs, and if you had the run line, you lost. But I'll tell you what, Carrasco did enough. They did enough. And they were able to get the job done, but they need to start scoring more runs. That's a consistent issue that they've had trouble with. The Seattle Mariners were crushed last night, and it happened pretty early. Michael Leake had a brutal night, 3 1/3, gave up 12 hits and 8 earned runs. Jose Abreu had a big night. Yohan Moncada had a big night. Finally, the White Sox get off they finally get off the losing train, Donnie. They get a win behind them. Mike Leake crushed, but surprisingly, not surprising.
No, you're right about that. When you look at guys like Mike Leake, Jeff, I mean, we've all watched him pitch and pitch for a long time. One of those crafty veteran guys that when he's picking his spots out with that slow curveball and slow fastball, it seems, you dot the outside corner. Maybe get an ump, Jeff, that extends it off the plate maybe 4 or 5 inches where you can paint the black in there and get some strikes. But when those type of crafty pitchers, Jeff, are off, they're really off. And they got hammered around last night. If you had the over in that game, I don't know, 9, 8.5, whatever it was, they smashed that pretty much early in that. But again, you're going to get those starts out of Mike Leake. It's just the way it is at that point of his career.
Giancarlo Stanton had a home run last night. Didi Gregorius had a grand slam. Yankees blew that one open pretty early. And how about Tanaka? 6 innings, only gives up a run and 3 hits. Finally, a nice performance from him against a pretty good lineup. Obviously, we'd hope the Yankees can do that every night, but they can't. But a nice start to the series last night. Yeah. I know I mentioned kind of like the Twins. I mean, getting 2-1, I mean, with the Twins against Tanaka, not a bad pick. Yankees were on fire last night. Big offensive night for them, which is nice to see. Miguel Andujar had a home run as well, Donnie.
Yeah, you're right. One other game, Jeff, also, is I wanted to touch on this when it got finished up late last night, 9:55, 9:56. The Miami and the LA Dodgers games, which Buehler on the mound, their highest rated prospect, pitched really well 2-1, Jeff, against Jar Jar Binks Garcia on the mound for the Miami Marlins. So, 2 younger guys, I would assume. I don't even know much about Jar Garcia, but that 2-1, I was looking forward to see because, when these younger kids come up with their first career starts, you want to see how they pitch. And again, what a nice move, Jeff. Wouldn't you like it if your employer said, you know what? I'm going to pick your first career start out. We're going to have you at home, and we're also going to have you pitch against the Miami Marlins.
Yeah, I actually took the Marlins last night. I took the 235, and look, I mean, I was in the game late. Just couldn't get the job done. When I bet the Marlins, I don't expect to win. I just do it because, you know, I got a good price against a bad team or a team with a young pitcher or whatever. Sometimes you got to take a shot. And look, it was 1-1 in the bottom of the eighth. They were able to, you know, get the job done there, but I'll take it again. When you're getting plus 235 against a pitcher making his debut, I'll take a shot with it no matter who it is. Um, we move on. The Reds get on the board finally. They get a fourth win of the season. We don't have much to say about that, but it's just nice to see the Reds got the job done, Donnie. Reds are on the board. They beat the
Mhm.
Atlanta Braves in a game that I thought the rain would be a problem with. Reds get the job done.
Yeah, how about that, Jeff? Party on it with Cincinnati with Romano on the mound beating Fultonavich 10-4. Who would have thought they could win any game at this point, let alone a blowout victory? We chided them yesterday, Jeff, for the 3 wins, but hey, the joke is on us, Jeff. They now have 4 wins on the season.
Yes, how about that? Let's get back to the NBA here and go through some of the games tonight. 3 games on the card. Donnie, what do we have going on?
Yeah, let's take a look here for us. We'll slide that down. I'll get some notes up here in just a few seconds. Let's see what we got. All right, NBA on tap tonight, Jeff. 7:01, 7:02. The Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics. Series shifts back out of Milwaukee over to Boston here. And again, 2-2. Key pivotal series game tonight. The winner probably has the leg up here going into the final 2 games. Obviously, it turns into a best of 3 at this point. If we take a look, Jeff, at Intertops now sitting currently at -3.5. Chris -4, bet online -3.5. Over under in this one, Jeff, opened up at 204, sitting around 202.5 to 203, depending on where you shop. One would think Boston, after dropping 2 straight, will be ready in front of that crowd tonight, but momentum is a nice factor to have. Milwaukee picking up 2 straight wins, coming into Boston hot. What are we looking at out of the game tonight here, Jeff?
Yeah, I don't quite understand this total. I mean, I didn't understand it at 204. Now it's at 202.5. Odd move for sure. Obviously, sharp money betting the under. I don't get that. I mean, and obviously I get why they're betting the under, but I don't understand why they're doing it. I mean, both these teams, Donnie, are 9-1 to the over the last 10 games. All 4 of these games have gone over so far, and they haven't even really been close. I mean, they're going way over the number, other than Game 4, which barely got over. But games 1 through 3 went easily over the number. No defense has really been played late in these games. Both teams are struggling to get stops. Both teams have been very good offensively, and you look at the number tonight. I mean, there's not much adjustment. It's not like they're putting it up at 206 or 207. It's 204. Look, I like the over at 204. I'll keep riding the train with these 2 teams over the number. I don't really understand the move down, but I'll take it. I would look over 202.5. I'm riding with the trends. And you look at the trends, Dottie. Last 14 between these 2 teams, 11 have gone over the number. Good, good ratio there. I'll go over the number. I think this is like a 108, 103 type of game.
Yeah, and heading down to the complex tonight, Jeff, you got the Philadelphia Phillies at home. You have the Sixers at home. I'll be down there right around 4:30 to 5 o'clock, Jeff, taking a picture with my most prized new possession, the Lombardi Trophy. But before that all goes down, hopefully I can escape the traffic and get home to my couch. 7:03, 7:04, Miami Heat versus the Philadelphia 76ers. And the first thing you take a look at this game, Jeff, yes, I know the Sixers are the better team. Yes, they are the higher seed. But I'm telling you, it takes me a little bit of back showing Vegas this much respect for the 76ers, Jeff. Looks like it's double digits across the board, double digits at Intertops. Intertops also showing a 215 as an over-under. Is this Miami's last stand? Did they say, you know what, we couldn't win game 4 when the Sixers turned the ball over 75 times in that game? How the hell do we win when they turn the ball over only 10 or 12 times in a game? The Philly crowd will be ready for this anticipation of a bloodbath, but the contrarian in me steps back and says, God damn, Jeff, 10 points?
Yeah, but the contrarian also will say to me that, yeah, you look at the Sixers. I mean, 28-14 at home against the spread this year. I mean, they've been absolutely magnificent against the number. And look, they've been good all year against the number. But this is a lot of points, and this is the last stand for the Miami Heat. Obviously, you lose here, the series is over. But you have to wonder where their mindset is after losing game 4. I mean, that was a tough way to lose. I mean, you give up almost 30 turnovers and still lose, or you get 30 turnovers and still lose the game. You got to wonder where their mindset is. And this is continuous, Donnie. third and fourth quarter just, you know, collapses. I mean, disappearances by the Miami Heat. You would think 10 points is too many. I think it is. I think it's one too many points. I'm not saying the Sixers won't cover. They probably can and probably will. But with me, when I'm getting 10 points in a deciding playoff game, this is the biggest game in 17 years in Philadelphia. They have not had a game like this that's this big. The Sixers haven't won a playoff series since 2001. This is the biggest game we've had in this town from a basketball perspective in a long time. Embiid obviously prepared. Everybody's prepared, but don't think it's not like the Miami Heat are just going to disappear and say, "Well, good luck, Sixers. Have fun. We'll give you the game." I still think 10's a lot. I'd probably lean towards the 10, but it's probably not a game I'm on. I like the first game a little bit more.
Yeah, big shift there on the total in that one, Jeff. 211 up to 215 across the board. That's a lot of points, especially in a closeout game when you figure if it will be close, if it is close in the fourth quarter, a lot of defense to be played in there, but also placates the 215 to Jeff, where maybe the mindset of Miami coming in this game, like, God damn it, like we're already headed to vacation, and we know how fast the Sixers play, and they're going to be at home and excited. If they're just firing threes left and right in a real wide open game, it could be a blowout, so to speak, even on a side and a total. But something tells me, like the Heat, I mean, they're a grimy team. If they're just going to throw it into overdrive and just try to hack foul and do whatever they want out there to the Sixers, that 215, I mean, even on a regular basis in a high-scoring game, Jeff, 215 is a lot of points.
It is a lot of points, but the Sixers obviously go fast. Both teams shoot a lot of threes, which is something that you obviously got to worry about when you have an over or an under, 3-point efficiency. Yeah, but it is a game decider. It is a series decider, Donnie. So you would think Miami will be a lot more, concise defensively. I don't know. I don't have much on the total. I've been kind of off on these totals in this series. I definitely like the first total we talked about. This one, I'm a little bit more interested in the Miami Heat. Look, when I'm getting double digits in a decider game, I'm going to probably lean towards the dog.
No, you're right about it. And it's just as Sixers fans, we watch tonight having a good time, yelling and screaming and, doing whatever, because I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of adversity throughout the game as we see. Get ready for a tweet barrage that the refs aren't helping the Sixers out from my end. And my goodness, what is Covington doing out on the court still? He should be on the bench, period. So we'll have a lot of fun with the game, yelling and screaming at the TV tonight, Jeff. 707, 708. Last stand here as well for Pop's San Antonio Spurs going against the hometown team, Golden State Warriors. Jeff, Intertop's currently sporting a 205 and a minus 11.5. So again, nice to have that win at home. Pops wasn't on the bench. They played well. They're going to send it back to Golden State. But I think we can all agree, Jeff, probably going to end right here and right now in this ball game. The only thing that's going to matter is will they cover the 11.5? It's another one where we have to gauge the interest of the San Antonio Spurs, veteran team going on the road. Most people know it's just about a formality that they're going to be sent home. It's just a matter of how well they come to play. Another great crowd in Golden State. It is a rich crowd out there, but they do get excited for the basketball, and that place is loud. One of these games, Jeff, similar setup to that Heat-Sixer game. Both home teams looking to close out the series with double-digit lines.
Yeah, and I mean, none of these games in this series have been good. I mean, all three games have been blowouts. I mean, whether it's the San Antonio Spurs or it's Golden State, none have been good at all. I mean, they've been boring to watch, and that would kind of delve to think that this would be another blowout. And you'd probably lean Golden State here in a closeout game at home. I don't have a ton on this game. This series just hasn't been very interesting to me. I haven't been able to really get into it. None of the games, like I said, have been close. So therefore, I think a lot of people have tuned it out. People kind of just realize that the Golden State's going to win. Donnie, random stat though. This year, Golden State 1-7 against the spread on Tuesday night. Very odd. They've only played 8 times, but they're 1-7 on Tuesday. So a little bit of spookiness there. Maybe that'll come.
It's not going up on a Tuesday, Jeff, huh? Yeah.
It's hard to trust a team, Donnie, that's shooting 42% in the playoffs, and that's San Antonio. There just hasn't been enough offense with this team. I lean Golden State, but don't forget about Tuesday.
No, it should be interesting there. But yeah, NBA, look, 3 games tonight. We'll see how they play out. But it's nice to have it at this time of the year. You got NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, draft on tap. So again, we like these. And again, we were hoping for a little bit of good news there on the New Jersey sports betting case. But of course, they're going to push it back. Maybe they need the ratings. We always joke, Jeff, LeBron has to be in the finals. And they want to see the finals go 7 games so they get the maximum exposure and the most TV money they can possibly get. Is anybody getting any extra money, Jeff, by the Supreme Court continually pushing back the sports betting case?
Well, listen, I have to ask this because I'm not when it comes to Supreme Court, I don't have a ton of experience. I'm a little bit more
Yeah.
interested in like, the criminal courts and things like that. A little bit more interested there. I mean, at what point don't they have to do it by some point? So can they just do this
Yeah.
forever? I
Yes.
mean, I
No, no, no.
I
I
don't.
believe the last somebody was saying on Twitter. I believe the latest in the term would be. I want to say June. I want to say it's June is the last. Like you know how they have like the Senate goes on a break for a couple months. They call vacation or whatever they do. There is certain things where like it's open season on what the Supreme Court hears and does not hear. And I want to say June is the latest that it can have to be
That's
read
what
by. So
I
it will be done by this summer, I think.
That's what I thought. I'm hoping that it's quicker, but again, it seems like they're waiting to the final minute to do this. Quickly, I know people are talking about Champions League today on the chat there. We did a video on the Champions League yesterday. Me, Flash, and Alex from NeedForTips.com. We're all on Liverpool to win the match now. We all did it within a combination of other bets. So again, I want to make this clear. None of us are on Liverpool to win the match. The line's too low. I'm not interested on it. We are all, though. I think Flash took Liverpool win the nil. Alex and I are both on Liverpool and the under 3.5. You can find that around 2.2, so plus 120. Obviously, listen, I made this very clear. If you're betting soccer on a regular basis, you cannot bet it at a good level on certain books. You have to be able to have bet builders. You have to have the ability to do that. As far as that's concerned, I'm on Liverpool in the under 3.5. Donnie, can we get you to join in a singing of "You'll Never Walk Alone"? Do you want to do that right now?
Yeah, see, I don't know the words, but I do know. And a little funny story in that. Back when I was working at a bar establishment, Jeff, we had a guy that was over from England who moved over to, I believe it was like Ridgefield or I can't remember what the town was. Ridge. I want to say Ridgefield or Ridgewood. I'm sorry, Ridgewood, New Jersey, Jeff. And the guy would,
Right.
hang out in the bar every Saturday night, and like 1:30 or 2 a.m. before the bars closed, and would spontaneously break out into "You'll Never Walk Alone," with most patrons having no idea what he was talking about at that point. I didn't until somebody explained it to me, but I always kept that with me, Jeff. Sort of like saying, I guess maybe busting out a Fly Eagles Fly at 2 a.m. like in Germany. And people like, what is this guy doing, Jeff? Hey,
Right.
what it was.
Well, it's Donnie. When you walk through the storm. I'm not going to sing the whole song, but maybe sometime we'll do that. Hold your
Yeah, hold his
head
head
up
up
high
high,
and don't
be
be
afraid.
afraid of the dark. Yeah. And you'll never walk alone.
Walk
You'll
on, walk.
never walk on, walk on. Yeah, all right, so we'll move on here. Um, let's get into MLB tonight, Donnie. As far as the other Champions League game, I like Bayern Munich tomorrow against the Real Madrid
That's
side.
pretty cool.
Let's get into MLB here. What do we got today? MLB, Donnie. MLB. We lose Donnie. We lost Donnie. I guess we're gonna have to keep singing here. When you walk. We lost Donnie, so there's nothing I can do. I gotta wait for Donnie to come back. I thought this was a sports show. Funny. Now sing the
There we
Juventus
go.
song. Okay. Um, actually, you know what? I will sing the Juventus song someday. I know the whole Juventus song, Italian, totally Italian. I know every word. We'll sing the Juventus song someday. No problem. What other show in the world has this kind of content? Exactly. Not fucking one of them. Get the fuck out of here. Donnie, let's get into baseball. What do we got?
Yeah, let's get a little bit of Major League Baseball here, Jeff. Let's go to the Bronx. And my favorite guys on the mound tonight, Jeff, the 350-pound wonder, C. Sabathia, going against the young flamethrower, Jose Barrios. We take a look at this number, Jeff, at Intertop's currently sitting right now, minus 140, opening up right around in that range, Jeff, minus 141, minus 145, depending on where you're shopping at. 68% are backing the Bronx Bombers here, Jeff, against the young flamethrower. Over under 8.5, looks like it's across the board. Intertop showing an 8.5, minus 125 at this point here. Bronx Bombers, nice win at home. Can they carry that mojo over tonight? Because that ain't a tomato can out there that they're going to face for the Twins.
No, it's not a tomato can. The question is, Donnie, who's betting the Yankees here? This looks like smart money betting the Yankees. Lined open. I know last night I was looking at it. Yankees were like 128-ish. Now it's up to 140. Obviously, this is what sharps do. They bet against things that don't make sense. They're betting on CC here. They like CC here. The weather's getting better. Obviously, that'll help CC a bit. It's not unbelievably hot yet, but listen, Berrios has been fantastic. He's been a guy that I want my money on. But you look at the career of CC Sabathia; it's been very good against the Minnesota Twins. I mean, he's had 40 starts, Donnie, an ERA just above 3. So pretty impressive stuff. Um, I'll be honest, Donnie, I'm kind of liking the under. I know that's kind of a career suicide sometimes, taking unders in the Bronx, but I have a feeling this is a low-scoring baseball game. Maybe a first 5 under here. Uh, I think both these starters will be very good.
No, yeah, I mean, you never. It's a sort of a mixed bag out there because if CC is his crafty self, Jeff, the problem is not him going deep. It's just getting out of that little jams in the first, second, and third inning. Because as I always stated, like I'm not a big fan of CC Sabathia. He doesn't go long enough in games for me. But if there's one team in Major League Baseball that, based on paper, Jeff, where you can say, you know what, just give us like 4 innings out there in the bullpen. We're hanging on for the rest. That would be the New York Yankees. And again, they held down the Minnesota Twins quite fine yesterday with only 1 run, and the bats woke up for the Yankees. But again, Yankees aren't going to go against somebody who's just going to be serving it up right over the middle of the plate. Berrios has very good stuff there, hard fastball, nice curveball. So we'll see what ends up in the Bronx, Jeff. And if we take a look and slide it down, Jeff, there's a reason why that bottom tagline says Twins, Yanks, D-backs, Phillies, and also says the Rangers. And the other team is not stated up there, Jeff, because Triggs is the Oakland Athletics, the single best performance you're ever going to see tonight out of 2 pitchers, Jeff. Cole Hamels versus Andrew Triggs. Does it get any better if we take a look right now, Jeff, at Intertops? -110, Triggs, a road favorite. Basically a pick him at this point, but I do like to say the 110 is slighted to his side there. Over under in this one, Jeff. It doesn't look like 2 pitchers that are having MVP seasons, as we like to say, with an over-under of 10 down in Globe Life.
Yeah, I do lean Oakland here. I don't really want to bet Andrew Triggs, but I guess I will. It's more of Oakland just playing well. They've won 7 of 8. They're hitting 290 this year against left-handed pitchers, and Cole Hamels has struggled. He's 1-4. They're 1-4 when he pitches. He's given up a lot of runs. Seemingly in every start he pitches in. But Andrew Triggs has not pitched well either. Andrew Triggs got absolutely murdered in his last outing, 1 1/3, give up 6 earned runs and 5 hits. So he's a guy that leaky is another word to describe him lately. I would look Oakland though, just the way they're playing. I don't trust Hamels right now. The question you always wonder with Cole Hamels is, will he put in one of those yeoman's performances and just give up 2 hits over 7 innings? Doesn't seem like he's that pitcher anymore. I kind of like Oakland with the way they're playing. The question is, will going on the road, having a day off, throw off that momentum? When you win 7 of 8, you kind of just want to keep going. You don't want to take a night off. You kind of just want to. Did they play last night? I guess they did play last night. What am I saying?
Yeah, Oakland won last
My
night.
apologies.
Yeah, yep.
My
Yeah.
apologies. I kind of just assumed they were on a road trip after the weekend series. But hey, good point. I guess so. Throw that out. That doesn't mean anything. Yeah, but I still like Triggs. I mean, he's obviously been better than Hamels, and Oakland playing well. So I would lean Oakland there.
Yeah, before we get to our off-topic stuff, Jeff, 903, 904, nice matchup here with Arizona and the Philadelphia Phillies. Jeff, Robbie Ray versus Vince Velasquez. And how about this? Line opens up at 8 across the board, now settles in at Intertops at 7.5 as a total. Basically a pick 'em on the board. The red-hot Phillies. Arizona's playing good baseball. If you're looking at Vince Velasquez at home, he does have electric stuff, but can get a little bit of wild. We've seen in the past. Still a young pitcher trying to figure out what he's going to do, what he's going to be, because there's a lot of talk in the preseason, Jeff, and also during March, maybe moving Velasquez to a closer or a setup role because he does have good stuff, but has factored in nicely here early for the Phillies. Ray, the lefty, will be on the mound. Looks like a good one here in Philadelphia, Jeff. A little bit cooler temperatures in the lower 60s, maybe in the 50s by game time, but that over-under at 7.5 shows you might get some good pitching here tonight.
Yeah, I wonder about the weather in this game. I heard it is supposed to start to rain later in the day.
Yeah.
That could be
Yeah.
a problem in this one. Actually, rain is probably imminent, frankly. It looks like it's going to be a washout tonight. Again, we'll have to see. You never know, but just keep that in mind. Listen, when I can get Robbie Ray at this kind of price, I'm probably going to look towards him. I don't like Vince Velasquez. I've said it before. I think he should be in the bullpen. I think he should be a setup or closer. It's just to me where he fits. I don't think he has starter stuff. Arizona, though, is struggling, though, on the road. I mean, they have struggled all year to get hits. They're only hitting 217. The problem is, Donnie, no one can hit against them. They've been fantastic, 6-3 on the road. This Phillies team, though, playing well. I don't have a lot of luck betting on them or against them, so for me, it's a pass. It should be a great game to watch, though. A lot going on in Philadelphia tonight and over the
Yeah.
next couple nights with the draft and stuff like that. But with this Phillies team's kind of captivating the area. Gabe Kapler not getting booed now.
No, certainly not. Philly's playing good. Again, it's nice to have a good start to the season because you can parlay that in throughout the summer to see if you can battle for a wild card, but a good mojo. It's a lot better having a good start than a bad start, especially, Jeff, with a new manager and a younger ball club. So, yeah, excited for Philadelphia. Be a big night in the city tonight, no question about it. Why don't we move it and slide it down, Jeff? We got a couple minutes for off topic. And one of the biggest things in the news right now that people are talking about, of course, is the Waffle House incident. And forget about the incident itself. Knucklehead going in there. Let's talk more about the Waffle House hero, Jeff. Somebody walks in with an AR-15 with a, I don't know, Inspector Gadget, trench coat, naked, and he's shooting naked in there. As soon as the gun jams, Jeff, what did the good citizen do? Goes in there, grabs the AR-15, launches it over the Waffle House counter to save the day there. And the question that comes up here, Jeff, which I can't blame the guy. I didn't read all the way through the story, get every last detail, but if he's going to fight and take the gun and throw it over the counter, and people were saying, like, well, how did the guy get away, Jeff? I'm probably not either going to be first in line after I wrestled the gun away to go tackle the naked guy in the actual place. I'll let the police do that themselves, Jeff.
Well, before we get into this, I do want to make this clear. You have to make a case that Tennessee might have the most ridiculous bond laws I've ever seen. Under Tennessee law, Donnie, other than death penalty cases, every criminal suspect is entitled to a bond. Every criminal suspect. So you could kill four people like this guy did, or how many people did he kill? Four?
I think it
Yet
was
he
four.
still
Was
can
it
get.
four? Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if he puts up 10%, he can get out. That's basically what they're saying in a way. Again, keep in mind the lawyers will then fight for the bond to go up higher. But why is there a bond at all in this case? Tennessee law is way out of line here. Why is there a bond for murder suspect? There should not be a
Yeah, I
bond
don't know. I
on
don't.
any
Yeah, I don't
charge.
know much
And
about Tennessee. Yeah,
yeah,
that's interesting.
according to
Usually,
Tennessee law,
if you're held for murder, like if you're up on a murder charge where it's like we had you on tape shooting people, it's probably not the best idea. That I mean, I'm sure he's not going to be able to post it, and I'm sure they'll delay it. And even if he tries to post it or somebody comes up with it, they'll probably knock it down up to something ridiculous, which they should do. But it is kind of interesting. Like if you're suspected of murder, nobody can prove it. I mean, maybe, but geez, but if you're on tape and they know you did it, you can't be getting out. Come on, man.
Yeah, and I'm also not sure how this isn't a death penalty case, frankly. But again, keep that in mind. Under Tennessee law, if you murder someone, you are entitled to a bond, which is amazing. Keep in mind, Donnie, Shannon Sharp, which had a great tweet. Meek Mill has done nothing criminally wrong, however, can't get a bond. This guy, though, can murder four people and gets a bond. But yeah, shout out to this guy that was the hero here. I mean, listen, we have all these false heroes in our worlds. All of us, look up to baseball players or who, whoever. You talk about a hero. This is a hero, a guy that lifelessly, selflessly, puts his own safety in the hands of others and basically just does something to help another person. I mean, Donnie, all of us do things like this. We all go to a restaurant to eat. No one thinks about what would happen if someone starts shooting people here. No one really thinks about that. You kind of just go through your day and kind of just do it. This happened at what 3 in the morning, Donnie. This guy was able to basically in a short period of
What was
time.
he even doing down there anyway? What was he doing in Tennessee? I thought he was from like Illinois and stole a car. Like, what was there a motive behind this, or just some knucklehead on bath salts?
Yeah, from what I've seen, nothing as behind. No one has any motive yet on this. Supposedly, this character was arrested many times. Supposedly, his father's going to get arrested as well for giving him guns back that were taken away from him. According to I think federal law, you can't do that. If you're under a certain age and your guns are taken away, or some kind of statute, you can't give guns back to someone that have they've been removed from. Why he was there, I don't know. But what a selfless individual to do this. I mean, obviously could have been killed right then and there. He wrestles the gun away. Think about if he doesn't do this James Shaw guy. There could have been. I mean, much more carnage here. What a sad story. I mean, people just probably going home after a night out or something, getting a late meal, and you have some fucking psychopath walks in with a big gun. Big big guns are in the hands of the wrong people, Donnie. When will this get fixed?
No, yeah, it's yeah, and it's just a tragedy. It seems like every single day there's tragedy in all walks of life in every country around the world. It's almost like it's built in where now you're desensitized unless something really ridiculous happens, like in Las Vegas, where it's an over and out, like hundreds of people are killed. It's almost like you look at this like, what was it? Only 4 people and a couple people injured. Could have been worse. It's amazing how desensitized we are when you see stuff on the news, and it's not even unlike when you see like, hey, 4 people got shot at the Waffle House. It like doesn't even register in your mind anymore. It's a crazy, crazy world, man.
Yeah, it really is. And you ask yourself with this guy. I mean, good question by Giorgio. How did he only manage to get it 1 mile away in that period of time? I don't know. That's a good point. I do think he lived in the area, Donnie, to answer your question. I think he lived close to there. From what I've read, he was found close to his house, which wasn't far from the actual site of the crime. So, yeah, what a selfless individual, though, James Shaw, to go out and not really look for any hero call. Just I'm just going to try to help people. Donnie, you have to ask yourself. I mean, are there many people willing to do that sort of thing? No, and that's the sad thing. Unfortunate part about our culture is most people just pull out a phone and start recording it. That's kind of the bigger shame. I saw yesterday, Donnie, on that Toronto, that the guy that drove the van into all those people. Like I saw the video of
Yeah.
like him like you know the police fighting him basically and him like drawing a gun. I saw people like standing around. Did you see that? Like people like
In the
up
background,
to the
right? You know,
left.
you're talking
Like
about the people in
yeah,
the back. It
there's
looked like a movie set, like somebody just
yeah, they're
turning
just like
around, like, "Hey, what's going on back there?" Yeah,
yeah, they're
crazy.
just like standing there watching. I'm like, dude, get out of there. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you standing there?
You're right.
I don't,
You're right.
I didn't understand that. But very sad story here. But I guess one good thing was someone was able to step in and it prevent this psychopath from doing more damage. Rob Gronkowski, Donnie, he is not hurt. His horse is hurt, and his horse will not run at the Kentucky Derby. This actually, Donnie, was reported by our own Flash Watson yesterday on the
Okay.
soccer show. Flash Watson, a big horse guy, he was the one that actually reported this to me quickly. But it looks like Gronk, the horse, will not run in the Kentucky Derby. So for anyone that was interested in betting on him, I guess now Gronk will join his father Rob in a toast and a drinking session instead of going to the Derby.
Yeah, how about that for a nice little buy-in? Like, you go to the Kentucky Derby every year, you get wind of a horse named Gronk that's going to make the Kentucky Derby. Let me reach out. I got all the money in the world. Yo, how about I buy into this horse and it'll be a lot of fun and we'll see what happens. The minute he buys in a Gronkian fashion, the horse also gets hurt, much like Gronk is hurt a lot of the times. But Gronk said he's not backing out of his commitment with the horse financially and he's going to see it through long term. But that's just, if you bought a horse, like, what, I'm going to watch my horse run the Kentucky Derby and doesn't go, it's a little deflating there for Gronk.
Yes, it is. Big man, is it true that Flash actually played in the Premier League? Yeah, yes, he played in the Premier League for many years. He played for Southampton. He played for Bournemouth. He actually is the Donnie first Premier League player ever to sue another club after being injured. Yeah, he played for Sheffield Wednesday. Played for a lot of different sides. Yeah, he did quite well. He was a striker in the Premier League. Did quite well for many years. And you can look that up on the internet. Yes, he played in the Premier League for many years. Let's finish it up, Donnie. Obviously, tomorrow we'll be on with the roundtable guys. We'll have plenty to talk about there. Little draft talk. We'll talk baseball, all sorts of fun stuff on the roundtable every Wednesday at 10 o'clock Eastern. We'll be back Thursday where it is draft day, Donnie, and we'll get into all things draft. We have a lot of things, Donnie and I, coming up for the draft. We'll be on the night of. We'll be on Friday night as well, talking draft. I love the draft. I have a lot of interest in what is going on, and it's going to be a fun one. Draft props galore. Make sure you're tuning in to SBR picks over the next couple days for all of our draft coverage. Keep in mind, There's a lot of value if you know where to look in the draft. We are sponsored by the great folks at Intertops. Thanks to them for sponsoring the show every day. If you're in the mood for a book, make sure Intertops at the top of your list. Great customer service, great payout options, one of the best in the business book wise. I've used them before, really enjoyed it. He's Donnie Rightside. I'm the big man of campus. We'll see you tomorrow on the roundtable. Everyone have a great day. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.